It's your boy, Zoe Phillips. Thanks for tuning in to Zone Coverage Podcast, home of the HBCU Sports Authority, the oracle on all things HBCU. I'm going to tell you like this. If I tell you a mosquito can pull a wagon, don't ask me no questions. You better look his ass up. It's your boy, Zoe Phillips.
What's up, everybody, man? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Zone Coverage Podcast with your boy, Zoe Phillips. And look, man, we got a damn good show for you guys today. Look, as you guys saw in the thumbnail, man, I had to bring in my nephew. Look, wanted to come to make an announcement, man. Everybody's been asking for the past month every day. Man, you know, what's going on with Esaias, man? Y'all heard anything about the eligibility? So, bro actually came out, dropped some info for everybody to see, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with regards to his eligibility. But look, man, nephew, look, Jack State team captain, fan favorite, hailing from Wilmington, Delaware, man. Transferred in from Delaware State, and look, fan favorite, man, been doing this thing. Team captain, off the heels of a national championship, and look, he put something out there, and look, what better way for him to actually just put a tweet, but actually bring him on screen, so he can actually reach out to all the Jacksonians and all the I Love family, and actually talk to you guys one-on-one, man. So without further ado, man, I'm gonna bring up my nephew, man. Esaias Guthrie. By the way, we over here we dubbed him the Book of Esaias. Go ahead, read my boy on, man. Nephew.
What's up, how you?
What's going on, man? Look, long time coming. Wanted actually to bring you on, man. We got the I Love family in here, man. Look, just kind of want to get into it and, you know, talk about the season. And look, before I even get started, I know you guys already know, look, damn good season this year, man. You end up having what? I think 42 tackles, 2 sacks, fumble recovery, 2 interceptions. Light work, you know what I'm saying, going into championship season. And I remember starting this thing out, man, when you actually got here and when you made the announcement that you were coming to JSU. I remember making a phone call with Coach TC, actually, you know, picking up the phone when you actually broadcasted it, man. And I remember you actually coming here on your visit, being in the vet, and then to actually end up winning the Celebration Bowl. And we're going to actually get to, you know what I'm saying, the actual beginning of it, to, you know, how you actually end up transpired. But first question, before we actually even get into it, hold on, bring up these comments too. And look, before we get into it, you guys, man, look, anybody who got any questions, and I'll get to your question toward the end of this, man, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, you know, that you guys want me to actually say yes, man. But look, you transferred into Jackson State as a highly sought after recruit. What made JSU the right fit for you?
Number one, I mean, coming out, it was big for me to stay at the HBCU. That's something that meant a lot to me. And so what's better in the I Love itself? The best of the best, the cream of the crop, the standard. You know what I'm saying? So I seen that there was a lot of attention on JSU with Coach Prime being there, and then with him leaving, I felt like it would be the more eyes than ever. You know what I'm saying? To see if we can keep this thing going, and have the opportunity to be the first recruit to come in, man. That's special in itself. So Coach TC, Coach O, them two guys sat me down, talked to me, talked to my family. The fans, of course, they recruited me on their own. It was just a one-of-a-kind experience in itself, and that's what really attracted me to it.
And look, and so being a part of a historic program like Jackson State, what was your biggest takeaway from your experience down on Lynn Street?
Biggest takeaway, man, is family. You know, like that family environment is different. And so I like to tell guys, even when I'm, you know, recruiting them high school guys sometimes, I tell them, like, go somewhere where you're going to be able to leave a legacy. And by legacy, I mean somewhere you can come back to when it's finished. You don't see a lot of guys go back you don't see a lot of the guys unless they like the top guy starting quarterback, starting running back, something like that, mostly at Ohio State or something like that, going back to their PWIs to homecoming or going back for a big rivalry game. You don't see that too often unless they are those big number one guys or big names. Um, just because of how things may be, or it's just like it just wasn't that for them. It wasn't that feeling. It was a school day. It was a pit stop for them, and that's just how it was. Um, and so that's why I tell them, man, go somewhere where you can come back to when it's all said and done. And really have those memories like, dang, man, I really remember this. I really remember walking out that tunnel. I really remember doing it big. I really remember, walking down the plaza and stuff like that.
That's what's up. And so, look, who were some of the teammates or coaches that had the biggest
Yeah.
impact on you at Jackson State?
Um, Biggest players, I mean, K5 is one of them, of course. K5 is definitely one of them. K5, my dog. I ain't gonna lie, that's my dog for real. Petty, AJ Petty. I live with him to this day. That's my guy. Um, Coaches, Coach Quinn, Coach Mario, Coach TC, of course. Coach Evancy Jones is my guy. So yeah, that's just to name a few.
And look, so I kind of wanted to get this too because, we mentioned this in the past about you before, but, you know,
Yeah,
it was kind of evident, being around the team, going to practice, talking to Coach TC, talking to some of the other coaches, even Coach. And I really got to say this, man. Coach Quinn and Coach O, and I'll never forget this. Heard a lot last year, but I'll never forget. It was during Blue and White Week, before the season last year, and I remember, man, we were up at Johnny T's and just chopped it up with a man. And bro, Coach Quinn went so hard about your IQ and being a coach on the field.
yeah,
Like I'm telling you, and look, I'm gonna tell it. He even said, man, for what any type of shortcoming you think, say he would say six got, man, he gonna make up for it with his IQ and just knowing where to be. He's literally another coach on the field. Like he said that, and Coach O echoed the same thing, and
yeah,
that actually translated through the season, right? So
yeah.
I was gonna say, man, knowing that they've called you a coach in the field and hearing that, what does that mean to you, and how do you embrace that role?
I definitely embraced it. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I was never the fastest, the strongest, most athletic, or anything like that. And so I kind of had to find my value. And my value was I was smart. I could think fast and just make moves. And so people always watch my film like, damn, like look like you moving fast. Like now knowing I'm really not that fast. Honestly, I just know what's about to happen, and so I can read and react quite quickly. And so to be able to do that and kind of bring that asset to the team kind of helped us in a lot of ways, especially with Coach Quinn. Coach Quinn is the same way. Like he could think very fast, and so he kind of needs somebody on the field to articulate those thoughts for him. And so we kind of, I'm kind of his yin to his yang, and so while he's out there, he'll be doing stuff fast. He'll make a call last minute, and I kind of just got to make stuff happen. Even in the game plan wise, a lot of our stuff is formation based, and it's really on us as the players to get in and out of calls. Where we may get a call from a sideline, but that's probably not going to be the call that we're actually running by the time the offense sets up. And so to get 11 guys on one page in a matter of 5-6 seconds is hard to do.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, they definitely. I mean, Coach Quinn. It took a long time for us to get on the same page, me and Coach Quinn, to make sure that we had it right.
Mhm.
Some weeks, it wasn't always the best. But that's just going through the season. That's just how it's going to be. When you got guys who love the game and guys who study the game so much. So I appreciate them for speaking so highly of me.
Were there any moments this season where you felt your leadership made a crucial impact on the game?
Um, I mean, yeah, I think every game is a lot of what we do as a defense is put on my back. Was put on my back going through the season last season. Like I said, we do a lot of stuff where it's you got to remember, what I'm saying, we have like 8 different checks depending on upon what we're gonna do, and through the course of the game, those may change on the sideline. So now we just did a whole week of studying for this. Now we get to the sideline, they're like, all right, let's throw this away, let's do this now. And so now we got to have a guy that can really retain all this information
Mhm.
and then you got to remember, it's 11 guys on the field, but it may not be the same 11, right? Like, so four people may be different at a time, or 5 people, or you know what I'm saying, just different type of substitution. So you got to kind of work with what you got. And sometimes you're not always used to playing with the same guys, but I feel like my voice has always been consistent to those guys. And I appreciate them guys because it's not always easy to be led. You know what I'm saying? It's harder to be led than it is to be a leader. Um, some people don't realize that, and so them guys taking on the coaching that I was giving them was good too. So yeah, I think it was an every game thing.
Well, look, it ain't no secret, man. Look, Jack State fan base really embraced you, dog. They
Yeah,
love six. And look, and the one thing I really got to say with you and, the team, the fan base loved the team, obviously, and there are plenty of guys that show love back. But, dude, I'm going to tell you something. You embody, and I've said this before, bro. You came from Delaware, but, dog, you turned
yeah,
into a Jacktown Jew.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
JSU fan base embraced you, but you gave that love right back. And
yeah.
what was it about Jack State community that made it such a special place for you?
Like you said, man, giving that love. Like number one, I come from a school. I was coming from a school where we was playing in front of maybe a couple hundred at most on a homecoming. I think 4,000. So I mean, we was getting that. We was getting more than that at the spring game, and so to see the love and also to understand what it means to the city. I come from the same type of city as Jackson. I come from Wilmington, Delaware. If you don't know, it was rated the murder capital of the United States at one point when I was growing up. Bigger than Chicago, bigger than St. Louis and all that. So I understand what hope means to a city. And so I understood what Jackson State football meant to Jackson, Mississippi. And so for us to win and keep going and bring all that hope to the city was amazing. Like I always tell people, like I've never seen so many black people be in a space all together like that and get along no matter where you from, where you're at, where you came from, and be able to leave that same place in a safe manner. I've never seen that. That's just not how I grew up. Like no matter if we was at a party, we was all having a good time in there. By the time we come out, somebody done got to a fight, something. You know what I'm saying? So just to see that was like crazy to me, and then just to understand exactly what it meant. Like it ain't no violence on Saturdays, it ain't no beefing on Saturdays. It's all love in Jackson, man. And so I mean that's deep, bro. That's deep. So the love that the city gave us to be able to go out there and cheer us on every week, man, I had to give it back every day.
And look, so do you have any favorite any favorite memories with the fans, whether it was on game day in the community or even on social media?
Social media is a lot. Social media is a lot. I will say that I got a lot of great moments. I feel like all right, my favorite moment was definitely one of the fan days in the AAC. Somebody was walking by. It's a picture on my Instagram. I ain't on Instagram right now, but so you can't see it. But it's a picture on my Instagram. Some lady. I'm like, dang, like how's your baby and everything? She good. Like you want to hold her? And I'm like, yeah. Like I took her, baby. I'm just holding her. She going about her business. Like I'm like, dang. Like me and her just chilling. And she's getting autographs from the guys. She come around like 20 minutes later to pick her up. Like, and that was super dope to me. That was crazy.
That's crazy. So look,
Yeah.
outside of that, there's a slight little thing that we got to talk about. So first thing, and I'm gonna get into something because it's a joking thing, but I made the note. I can't remember what game it was. It was at some point in time. I want to say, I think it was like about the FAMU game because FAMU was after Houston, right? Yeah, yeah. I think it was like the FAMU game.
I think it was before Houston, right?
FAMU?
Yeah. No.
FAMU was after Houston.
Okay.
So, but during the FAMU game, and then I made note, obviously, toward SWAC championship game. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, do y'all understand? We have kicked off every single game this season.
Yeah.
We won every single coin toss this year. And we
Yeah.
literally kicked off every game this season. Like, that's an
Yeah.
anomaly. We kicked off every single game this season. We didn't receive any opening kickoff. That's crazy, right? Crazy.
Yeah.
So, you had a perfect record on coin toss this season. How did that
Yeah.
streak come about, and did it become a running joke in the locker room?
No, it didn't become a running joke in the locker room. But like, I also didn't peep it. Like, I would peep it, but like, I'm like superstitious, so I'm like, dang, like maybe I shouldn't say nothing. It's getting like fifth game. I'm like, damn, I'm killing it right now. Hold up, maybe I shouldn't say nothing. So I don't never say nothing. Until we get to the, just so happens until we get to Atlanta. We in Atlanta, and they like, yo, bro, like we gonna head for tails. So all week I'm like, yo, like stop asking me because I don't know. So we in pregame, and then I promise you can ask anybody that's down there on the sideline. You get, I forget it's one of the pastors from one of the Jackson churches. I forget. He comes in, he cooks for us all the time. He crazy, man. He funny, but he on the sideline before the Celebration Bowl, and I'm like, yo, I have no idea what I'm like. And usually I kind of got a feel for it, but now I'm like nervous. I'm like, yo, like this is the last one. If I don't win, I'm like, dang, maybe we don't win. I'm like, yo, that's going to start the game off crazy. Everybody knows that I'm undefeated right now, so I know everybody's in the stands watching this coin toss. This is the most
Mhm.
important coin toss of the year. I'm like, I know. So, I know it's going to be crazy. So I'm like, yo, I go over to the sideline. We in the middle of warming up. Like the game, like we about to go into the locker room and then come back out and get started. I'm like, yo, anybody got a quarter? They like, oh, everybody on the field. I'm like, hey, everybody got a quarter, everybody got a quarter. And you know how the fans is right behind us in that little
Mhm.
like club looking thing. So they run out, hey, everybody got
Yeah.
a quarter, nobody got a quarter. I know it, like, I got a quarter, So I grab a quarter. I'm walking around, I'm just flipping it in my hand. I'm like, I promise I'm gonna give it back. I'm just flipping it in my hand, I'm just walking, right? At this point, like, out of nowhere, I just flip it up and just let it fall. Like, here we go, we going tail. I pick it up, I put it in my sock, and then I come out for the coin toss, of course, and we win it. And the fans go. It was like we had broke out with the opening touchdown. Like we just got the first play of the game, and like the way
Mhm.
that after that coin toss. So that was dope though. And then I gave it a quarterback later on and stuff like that. But yeah, nah, it wasn't a running joke until that game for sure. But yeah, I mean it really wasn't no method to it, honestly. Really was no method to it.
That's crazy because I'm telling you, that's gonna go down to some type of football trivia. Like
Yeah,
literally, we won. Not only did we win every coin toss that game, the
yeah,
fact that we kicked off every single game this season, like that's
yeah.
crazy. Regular
What
season
some people
and
don't know is
postseason.
that we don't even call every coin toss. So it's really the away team that calls it the coin toss. So it's like I don't have full control over what's going on either though. So that's the crazy part. It's just like, damn, like we won every coin toss without, and then we only called I think what 6, 7, and the other teams called the other ones. But yeah, yeah,
And it was a big deal because if you notice, the thing we became known for as the season went on, because you remember the first two games, it was like, the running thing after the first two games was we score a lot of points, but we don't make second half adjustments. And then
right,
that changed, remember, I
yeah.
think
We
after
started
the
playing
third
crazy in the
game,
second.
and we became a second half team, right, where we were pretty much shutting
Yeah,
teams out in the third quarter. It's amazing how they changed. So the fact that knowing that we were going to receive the ball in the second half, we would have a lead, right, and then we
yeah,
would shut teams out in the second half. So that was actually kind of crazy. The fact that adds to the fact that we kicked off every game. So
yeah. That
that
was
was
huge for us.
that was crazy. But
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to ask you this, and I'll get to Celebration Bowl. Look, you've always been praised for your high football IQ and your leadership. Has coaching always been something that you've considered?
No, not even a little bit. Coaching has never been nothing I wanted to do. Um, Number one, I like working for myself, so I love being an entrepreneur. I like to do things my own way. So unless I was getting like a head coaching job right off
Uh,
the bat, probably not. Wasn't something that I really thought about. But later, I mean, understanding the game more and getting into it, you kind of fall in love with kind of the little things of it. And so when coaching them would bring me in and let me watch film with the staff sometimes, or let me go into the game plan meeting sometimes to get my takes, man, that kind of brought me in slowly to kind of be thinking about it.
all right. And look, so looking back at this past season, what made this Jackson State team so special, and how did you all come together to make this championship run to the Celebration Bowl to win a national championship?
It was a decision at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the defensive side of the ball, I can speak for the defensive side of the ball most. It was our second season, being in the system. we returned like I think 10 starters, 9 starters. So that was big for us. And then going into that offseason, like it was like, yo, cut the complaints, cut the BS. Like we just went 7-4. Like we ain't on none of that. Whatever the coach say, go. Everybody shut up and work. Like if you're not working, somebody call it out. No matter who it is, it can be the lowest man on the totem pole. He say something to you, we going, we rocking. Like don't say nothing back. Work harder. And that's just what it was. Like it wasn't no in betweens to it. Like we just worked. We just worked, man, and that's just what made it special, man. And it was a decision of allowing each other to lead each other. Like it wasn't no man bigger than the next, and it wasn't no man littler than the next. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody had a role that they had to play. And then another thing, man, we which was the hardest thing to do in football is to really stay healthy. And our offensive side struggled with that immensely. But the defensive side, man, that's one thing we really did well. We
Mm-hmm.
stayed healthy. And people don't realize, man, like by the third, fourth game, we was really hitting. Every Tuesday was a live day, like, and it wasn't no tackling live. It was like old school
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma drill. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't supposed to be that, but it was live. It was like you was hearing it. Like it was,
Mm-hmm.
we in week 12. It's live. You know what I'm saying, on a Tuesday. So yeah, man, it was just a decision. Like we gonna work. We gonna work.
Gonna work and be physical. So,
Yeah.
well, look, as a team captain, what were some of the biggest leadership challenges you faced throughout the season?
Um, First of all, looking back on it, man, like really looking back on it, it's one thing to be a part of a championship team. And I told the guys just recently, like, um, it's one thing to be a part of a championship team. It's another thing to play on a championship team,
Mm-hmm.
and it's another thing to lead a championship team. Like
Mm-hmm.
it levels to all that, and so the leading part, man, that was dope. That was dope. That was special for me, because I didn't know what I didn't quite. I never came from a winning, like, I never won a championship, not even in high school. I always fell short, so I didn't really know what it looked like to a T. And so I kind of had to adjust as I went.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was the biggest thing for me, was just keep making sure that the guys knew that it wasn't about me being above them. It wasn't about me knowing more than them or feeling like I'm better than them. None of that. It was about me trying to learn the way that it was going to be, and then just sticking to that. And then that's just what it was going to be. Again, I mean, even though we got a guy named Eric on our team, and he's a walk-on, man, and he would check me all the time, like, "Oh, you bullshit." My fault. I bet
Oh,
I
you
can't.
good. You good.
All right. He like, "Oh, you on BS?" And I be like, "Bet." I'm like, "All right, bet. I take that." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna receive it, and I turn it up. But I mean, like, just stuff like that, like just being able to be led and lead in the same manner, man. That was big for everybody.
Well, look, you mentioned that you had never won a championship before. This was your first time and pretty much kind of
Yeah.
learning what that was like for you on the fly. Well, walk us through the emotions of winning that HBCU national championship. What was that moment like for you, knowing that you had just won your first championship?
I mean, number one, you gotta take it back to the SWAC. I mean, that would really be my first one. The SWAC one was a little different compared to
Okay, okay.
both of them was crazy. And both of them was crazy. SWAC one was a little different just because both of them was different. So I'm gonna speak on them differently. SWAC was different because it was truly my first, and so it was special because in order to get to the biggest goal of ours, which
Back it
was
up.
Atlanta, we got to go through here, right? And so it's hard to beat a team twice as well. But then the amount of family I had there, man, and the people that were in town and stuff like that, man. And so that was special for me. That was real for me, to get that one. And so I'll probably get that ring. Or I'll either get a ring made for my mom, or I'll probably give my mom my ring. But yeah, I mean, right after the game, I mean, you can ask whoever was over there, right? I mean, the clock ain't even hit zero yet. And I'm in the stands hugging my mom, like, dang, like, that was deep for me. That was deep for me,
Mhm.
for real. Like, the sacrifices that it took for us to even be down in Jackson, and for them to be there week in and week out, man, that was deep for me. But then going into the celebration bowl, it was an understanding that this had never been done before. You know what I'm saying? And so whereas SWAC championship, yeah, we did it as a team, but that was, I mean, it was 19, it was 18 other, Jackson State teams that have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, we get to rewrite the face of history. Like this, can nobody like? It's cool. It's different when you the first. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you the first. And then like I said, man, being able to lead that team to that first one, man, and understanding what that meant was like, yo, like they can't never take this away from me. You know what I'm saying? And so that was deep, man, to bring the city of Jackson that one. And then bring it to TC and everything that he's meant to the city. Everything I know it meant crazy to him to get that one. And so yeah, that was special, man. That was deep, And so and then in a game like that, and I said it's a halftime. I said it's a halftime, man, because we I think we up 17 or something. And I told him, I said, yo, look, and I mean, everybody really quiet in there because we don't like. At the end of the day, it's still the championship. You can't get too high, can't get too low. I say, yo, look, in a game like this, whether you are a senior, a freshman, a red shirt, tears are gonna be shed. Point blank, period. It's up to us whether those are tears of sadness or tears of joy. And so, and that's just how we walked out, and we understood like we all gonna be crying. Both teams finna be crying after this. It's up to us to make sure it's tears of joy. And so we made sure it was. And again, I walked back. It was kind of like adrenaline rushing or whatever like that. So the field was lit. I'm celebrating with the fans, celebrating with the family. I'm going up in the stands, making sure I take pictures with as many people as possible. And I get back to the locker room and then just sat down in my locker for a sec. And then that video is on Instagram too, on Twitter too. I sat down in my locker for a sec, and then I see all the guys lit, like they just having a great time. And it kind of just hit me like, dang, like we just did that, but dang, I may not even wear pads ever again. Like I'm glad it went out that way. You know what I'm saying? And other than the other way it could have went, but yeah, man, the emotions after that game was crazy. A crazy rush. It kind of just hit me all at once. You know what I'm saying? When I sat down in that locker.
I bet. And look, you mentioned being that you guys, in this particular team, you did make history. You made a good
Yeah,
point. There were 18 other teams that actually won the SWAC. We won championships before. This is the third in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? But first time we actually, went to that Celebration Bowl and actually won it. And
yeah.
I was going to say that, Jack State has had its shares of highs and lows over the last few years. What do you think that this national championship in the Celebration Bowls means for the program going forward?
Everybody wants to talk about the giving somebody the what's that shit called? Man, what's it called when you got a layout or something? A
Tip,
blueprint. They
blueprint.
talk about a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Crown left the blueprint, this, that, and third, man. That right there was the blueprint. And so we was able to lay down the foundation that they can now build on. But I always say this, like, the easiest, I'm not gonna say it's easier to win the first one than it is to win the second one, and so forth and so on, especially when it's so early in a career like Coach TC's. Like, you do that in your second year, like, people don't understand the amount of stress that brings, the amount of, like, it's all cool and dandy, but to come back that next year, it's stressful. Like, people don't care about, what you've done or how fast you did it. It's all about what you've done for me lately. And so that's just kind of the hard part about it for the program, that they got to now meet that standard every single time. It's no longer like go ahead and win the SWAC and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Now we've tasted that taste of success at the highest level. And so now they just got to go get it. But it's enough guys around in the building that understand what that means. And so that I'm sure it's going to get done.
I think this win actually crosses Jack State over to a new threshold, to a new plateau, to have something else to strive for. Like, it's one thing to strive for something that you've never done before, but then
Yeah,
also when you cross over that new plateau of having success, and now it's a new standard. And so, like, what it's like even like you now, like, what it takes to
yeah,
get to a certain level of success when you got it. And I think now I think Jack State's in a prime position to actually, go on a certain type run now with TC and Otis there, with the players they're
Yeah,
recruiting, and the train is rolling now. Man, it's gonna be a lot to stop it. But look, man, look, I wanted to bring you on. I'll get some other things later, but want to bring you on because, like I told you, even offline, man, every day I'm getting hit up. What's up with Say, man? You heard anything, man? And
yeah,
you put something out there this week, and look, I just want to say, look, earlier this week, you announced the NCAA had denied your request for an extra year of eligibility,
yeah.
officially, in that way, ending your collegiate career. What was your initial reaction to that decision?
I think going back, you got to kind of understand that it wasn't like I did my senior night stuff. I was prepared to be over with after that last game.
Hmm.
And so, like I said, it hit me with a lot of emotions. So to get the call to, that I would have an option of, you know, um, petitioning for another year was like, all right, that's dope. But it wasn't like I was banking on it, or it wasn't like I was, automatically gonna come back, even though I did have the extra. Like I said, man, I mean, it was gonna be amazing to come back and try to run it back, but that doesn't mean I was going to. Even though even if I would have gotten it, it kind of would have been all right. I got it. All right, let's do some more thinking. Let's see if my body could take it. Let me see if my mental is there. Like let me see if I can like being like even in LeBron's like even in LeBron, like LeBron always said, like if the moment I can't give no more all to it, I'm not gonna do it. And so that's kind of where I was at too. Like even if I got that year, like if I can't, if I'm not in it fully and can't give everything I got, if my body can't go, like if everything can't go, then I wouldn't do that to myself or to a team. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, hearing that news, it was like, dang, all right. But it didn't set me back none or anything like that. It was a little disappointing.
Hmm.
Um, but again, man, I mean, I'm in great spirits. Keep a lot of great people around me. I've always been a person to, have a lot of things going for myself, and so, life continues, life goes on, and so, I mean, the ball's gonna deflate one day. You just got to know that you got to keep going, and so that's all it is.
For sure. And look, as you're well aware, man, we were all, saying expecting and hoping for a different outcome.
Yeah,
did you receive any explanation on why it was denied?
yeah. So it's a specific way they said it, but in layman's terms, basically the people that were at my old school, there's a certain event that happened that occurred for me to have to sit out. And so what happened was I entered the portal for a certain reason after the first game, and then the NCAA enforced the transfer portal windows, and so they kicked me out of the transfer portal. But I wasn't allowed to go back to the team. I wasn't able to return back to the team
Hmm.
and play. But I also wasn't able to transfer anywhere. So I was kind of stuck unless I wanted to go JUCO, but JUCO kind of really isn't like a big thing up north. And so like I would have to it would be a big thing. And so the people at my school at that time were fired after that year, after that season. I actually had the opportunity to go back after that season before I committed to Jackson State. But I told them no, of course.
Hmm.
Um, but again, like when they're going through this whole process of investigating everything, I had to give my story, let them know what happened, let them know my side of it. But they have to then go ahead and reach out to the other side and see if they can corroborate it or get it, get some type of explanation. And so because that none of the administration or none of the coaches there was no true way to corroborate it or um, kind of verify what was going on. So it was more so just a lack of evidence to corroborate the story that
I
was
was
going on.
actually thinking that just off the sheer strength of you actually being in the portal, and also adding to the fact that entire staff was let go, that
Yeah,
should have been like a feather in the hat to actually get it done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
I mean,
that
you
was
would.
great. Yeah.
It's a lot of things. I mean, somebody. I mean, like the thing is, like honestly, if I was to go out and probably sue the NCAA for anything, they probably end up giving it
Giving it
to me
back to
anyway.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, they hate that stuff. So, but I mean, that's a headache in itself. I'm at peace with it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah.
That's crazy. So look, how are you mentally processing this transition from college football to the next phase of your career?
Um, like I said, I've always been one to have a lot of things going for myself and make sure I'm keeping busy. And so the biggest thing, even though I found out about the year like mid December, not mid December, because we just got done, so probably the end of December when they wanted me to write everything up. I've been traveling and doing different things, kind of enjoying my life. Just because like it's been nonstop football for me since I was about 4 years old. So I missed out on a lot of graduations, weddings, funerals, vacations, family stuff, different stuff. You know what I'm saying? I missed a lot of that. And so for me, it was just time to, be in my family and take that, kind of get some time back in case I would have to return back or anything like that. So, that's just been my focus, really, kind of making up for time, talking to people. I've been home a couple times. I've been to Africa. I've been to all over. Honestly, I went to All Star Weekend. I went to Super Bowl. I've been doing a lot of things with different companies and stuff like that. Just kind of getting some things going, seeing what could happen. But I'm kind of settled where I'm at now for what I'm probably going to do this year, and then just keep on going from there.
All right, bet. So, what's next for Esaias Guthrie? Are you preparing for pro opportunities, or do you have other plans in the works?
Nah, I'm not preparing for pro opportunities as in probably was enough for me. I mean, pro wasn't even like a big thing for me. Honestly, I didn't think I had the bandwidth to do it just because of the amount of like hours, the man hours, the sacrifices. I don't think I have another couple years in that for the league, honestly. But nah, I was offered, the opportunity to come back and coach last year. And so me and Coach O, we had a conversation, and I'll be coming back to coach. So we got practice tomorrow, and I'll be the defensive analyst assistant. But I'll be working as the nickels coach in some type of way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, I'll be coach E6 this season.
So, look, D, I love family. Everybody watching, y'all heard this. Y'all got hit
Yeah.
nobody DM up no more. You see, my E6 is the book of Esaias is still get written down on Lynch Street
Yeah.
as a GA. So y'all ain't got to jump
Yeah.
in the more DM anymore. But look, since you mentioned that, you're probably doing that. So, what aspects of the game excite you the most when thinking about coaching, like scheming, player development, leadership?
Um, I think the actual like seeing your coaching play out will probably be the most exciting for me. Correcting the guy on this, letting him know do this, have this kind of technique, and then seeing him do it and succeed in that. Um, that's always been dope for me, even as a player. Like it's been times, we're in a certain scheme or whatever, and I'm telling the guy, hey, this is about to come, do this, and he makes the play, and that was always dope to me. Like, all right, bet, like, dang, all right, I know what I'm talking about a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's gonna be the dopest part. But then just to be in my first game and kind of go out there and get that headset on and give some signals out and kind of coaching and getting that coaching atmosphere for the first time is definitely gonna be dope. So I can't wait for that.
Me too, man. And look, just curious, what kind of coach do you see yourself being? Would you focus on defense, or are you open to other roles? Offensive guy,
Um,
maybe?
I think, well, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually recruited to go to college as a wide receiver, and actually change my position while I was in college at DB. So that's pretty recent for me. But I think the understanding of offense is what makes me a good. My IQ so high and being able to play the way I played. So I even hit up Coach Rip and Coach TC to let them know that I definitely want to learn more about the offensive side. I don't think you can ever know too much about ball, and especially if you working on opposite sides, you kind of got to know what the other side is trying to do. And so yeah, I mean, I definitely be open to the full scope of it.
Do you see yourself coaching at the college level, potentially at HBCU, or are you even pursuing like possibly even being in the NFL as a coach? Hey, you never know. You could get a
Um,
Bill Walsh internship. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, that would be dope, of course. Kind of just seeing where it goes right now for right now, because again, it's never been something I wanted to do, so I haven't written down my goals for it yet, and kind of let them play, kind of go after them yet. But I mean, for the spring, the biggest thing is for me to be a sponge and kind of take everything in, but also, given the coaching that I've got, a lot of these guys I used to play with, so they know what I can offer to the game. I think that's the dopest part. Is I'm not doing it in a foreign territory. I'm doing it at my home. Where
Mm-hmm.
I've built my own, kind of legacy here, and they kind of understand what I can bring to the table from a player standpoint. And so they'll kind of understand the coach's side too, and so it's easy to receive it when you've seen that guy firsthand succeed, and lead, and like I said, lead a team through a championship. I think that's going to be big for the guys and the players, because it's different when you're hearing it from a coach who's 40 or 50 or 30 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
who just came in or something. But it's different when you're hearing it from a guy who literally just got done playing with you and just was telling you what to do from a player's perspective anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be dope.
I only got one request while you being the
Yeah.
GA. Whoever is going out to do the kickoffs, you gonna have to give Whisper in the ear heads and tails. So give them a quarter or so. We gonna have to
I
keep
can see what I
that. We
can
got to
do,
keep
man.
that
I can
streak
see
going,
what
dog.
I might be in the box. I don't know. I mean, they got me.
Hey,
They said they wanted to give the signals now, so I'll be giving signals starting tomorrow when we start practice one. So we'll see how it goes out.
that's what's up. Well, look, what message do you have? Look, you announced it now, but what message do you have for Jack State fan base as you move forward in the next chapter of your life?
Um, just keep going. Just keep going, man. Jackson State football is definitely gonna bring some excitement to this season. We're going to Vegas. We're going all around, doing some big things. So, I mean, to be a part of that is going to be dope. And just stay with us. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to, let me say this. It's not going to look, it's either not going to look exactly like last year. It's not going to look, or it may look a little different just because, again, last year we had 10 starters returning. This year I think we have 3. And so now we gotta teach guys stuff. So it's gonna be some growing pains for sure through games, kind of adjusting to the way each other play. That's expected. But kind of just stay with us, and in the end, we're gonna get what it's supposed to be. What's supposed to be, guys.
For sure. And look, look, man, I think you're coming to Jackson State, and even the way things ended, even with the championship. I think being that you were TC's first recruit, you know, your storyline was a damn good one. You're in it, so you really don't see it from the lens that everybody else does. I can vividly remember going back to, watching clips and seeing you at Delaware State, getting interceptions, making plays, becoming a name, right? Doing the
Yeah,
things that you're doing at a place that really isn't known for having success. Then,
yeah,
watching things unfold the way they did here to Jack State getting turned around, having success under Coach Prime, him leaving, TC taking over, and then you know being a part of the way things were behind the scenes when the outside world didn't know that it was just him and O. There wasn't a staff, just
yeah,
shit. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that, man, he was prepared for it. He had a plan. Like he had guys in mind that he wanted to recruit, and I remember, seeing you here, on your visit at a game, you know what I'm saying, in the stands, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? To go from that, announcing, his, what I'm saying, first you know, commitment, and then going from there, man, to the class that we signed, and the energy changing, going 7-4, knowing that
yeah,
we easily could have been better, just watching the progression of that to going to how it came to this season, you know what I'm saying? You being the captain, the way everything transpired, man. And then again, I would never, as long as I live, man, remember being at the coin tosses and listening to you talk shit and literally tell somebody, welcome to Jackson, Mississippi. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And just knowing, again, man, to me, out of all the other players on the team, and I'm like everybody else, man. I got my favorites. I love all the guys, but I have my favorites too, man. To know that, man, being from Delaware, as north as you could think of, right? And man, like I said,
yeah,
you embodied Jackson. You literally became a Jacktown Jew, and the
yeah,
fans felt that, gravitated toward that, man, and. Learning that you're gonna be here coaching. But I was gonna even say, man, even if you were leaving, man, look at Jack State. We don't have fans, we got family, and wherever you go, we go. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so, like I told you, I was like, oh man, nephew. That's when I was like, hey, we got a dog, man. It's not Esaias, it's biblical, dog. It's the book of Esaias. And
yeah,
I just want to know, man, it's a book, so all you did was got to the end of the page of one chapter. Now you're
yeah.
turning the page of a brand new chapter as a GA, as a coach, and man, you're young and on your way to thriving in your life, and you're gonna be a success no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? You
I
got your head on
appreciate it.
straight, man, and you got the work ethic, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be, man. So kudos to you,
I
but
appreciate that.
definitely want to bring you on, man, so everybody can see you in the flesh, hear your voice, and know
Yeah,
what it is Drew's gonna do. Because every day, what's Esaias gonna do? Have you heard anything about Esaias? So
yeah,
look, man, nephew gonna be here. E6 Book of Esaias is gonna be doing this next year. Throwing in signs. So y'all gonna see him.
yeah.
And look, man, before I let you go, man, man, let everybody know where you could be reached, where you can follow on your socials, man, and just give everybody a line of message before you go, man.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Esaias Guthrie, my full name. I'm not on Instagram right now, so I'm kind of taking a break. Kind of was taking a break from Twitter too, but I realized I had to let people know what was going on because I popped out at the basketball game once. And I promised I couldn't walk 5 steps without somebody asking me. So I'm like, let me tell these people what's going on. So I'm not on Instagram. I am on Twitter. I'll be on Twitter. And man, like I said, man, just stick with us. Stick with us, man. I think the spring is gonna be exciting. But I mean, the spring versus the fall is kind of night and day in the sense too, though. I mean, if we
Yeah,
went to it was two totally different kind of rosters or teams that we had last year. So, kind of just stick with us, man. We gonna be exciting. We gonna make sure that it's as fun for everybody. But it's still gonna be winning football at the end of the day. That's just what we know. And that's all we preach. You know what I'm saying? So I love the I love, and the D I love loves me. So I know I ain't tripping there. So I appreciate y'all and love y'all, man.
and look, Carm hit us with a comment. I gotta ask you this, man. He said
But,
Capriati's or stamps.
I had Capriati's before, but nah, definitely stamps. But Capriati's don't do they sell hamburgers though? Cheeseburgers? I had a Capriati's cheesesteak one time, but stamps don't really sell that, so I go stamps. I guess stamps. Yeah.
There you have it, man. Look, he a
Yeah.
Jew for real, man. Jew said, look, not a cheapsteak.
Nah, it was one time in the like last spring. It had to be last spring or maybe during the summertime where we was getting stamps at least twice a week.
Oh
It
hell
was bad.
no.
I had to take a break.
Oh,
No, I had to take a break. It was bad. No, for real.
oh,
It was bad. No, we was eating crazy too though. We was doing. It was a lot of stuff that went on. There's a lot of stuff that it's gonna be what like five. Like I said this the other. I said this after we won the championship. I don't know how many years I said, but I think I said 5. Like 5 years from that day, from December 17th, 2024. 5 years from that day, I got a story for y'all. I got a story about that week that's gonna blow your mind away, man. But yeah, no, I mean, it's some crazy stuff that went down. Like, I don't even get it. But yeah,
that's crazy. Well, look,
yeah,
man, appreciate you for coming on. I'm gonna wrap up
yeah.
with you. Probably might even try to get with you tomorrow. But look, appreciate you for coming on, man. Look, and anytime you want to come on, doors always welcome. We're definitely gonna
Look,
stay in touch with you, man. Keeping up with you, and be on the sideline. Look at you passing them signs and stuff in on the
yes,
sideline,
sir.
man. All right, I love fam, man. Your team captain, HBCU national champion, Book of says. Catch you next time, bro.
All right.
All right, y'all. Look, I'm just gonna stay here for a minute, man. Check on some of you guys' comments. If y'all got any more uh questions going in, let's see here. But look, get ready to roll. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. And look, I'm actually probably may actually jump on and go live tomorrow night, man. Come up with some more news. But I definitely wanted to get nephew up because again, put the news out, and so many people have been hitting us up, man, hitting me up, asking what's going on, him, Philip Webb, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with these players. And like I always told you guys, a lot of things we know we don't a lot of things we know, just can't get out in front of the school or in front of the players, and pretty much want to let them, put out whatever it is that they want to put out, and we'll comment on it after the fact. But again, thank you guys for tuning in to Zone Coverage Podcast, man. This was a treat, and we're gonna start to get more guys in, more interviews for you guys. But look, thanks for tuning in. I will probably catch you guys on tomorrow. It's your boy Zo Phillips, man. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.